The rain hammered the pier like 1,000 unspoken regrets, each drop a sharp reminder that Seattle's skies wept when hearts couldn't hold back anymore. Alex collapsed to his knees, the cold wind biting through his jeans, as the ferry's horn wailed in the distance, a lonely echo of the life he was leaving behind. In that instant, as the world blurred into salt water and shadow, a stranger's voice cut through the storm. "Hey, you gonna be all right?" But Alex wasn't. He was shattering, piece by jagged piece, because loving Jordan had finally cracked him open, and the pieces were too raw to gather. Jordan watched from the edge of the dock, his umbrella forgotten in the car, the downpour soaking his shirt to his skin. He'd come here to clear his head after another shift at the coffee shop, where the steam from espresso machines couldn't quite mask the ache of empty evenings. But now, this kid, barely out of his teens, all sharp angles and haunted eyes, was unraveling right in front of him, and something primal twisted in Jordan's chest. He stepped closer, boots splashing in puddles that reflected the city's neon haze, and dropped to one knee beside him. "I'm Jordan," he said softly, his voice steady despite the thunder rumbling overhead. Alex looked up, rain streaking his face like war paint, and for a heartbeat, their gazes locked, two souls adrift in the same relentless current. That night marked the unraveling, or maybe the beginning. Alex could never decide. He'd fled his family's cramped apartment in Capitol Hill after the fight that had simmered for months finally boiled over. His dad, a burly mechanic with calloused hands and a heart hardened by factory layoffs, had found the journal hidden under Alex's mattress. Pages filled with sketches of hands intertwined, poems about stolen glances in the university library, and a name repeated like a prayer: Jordan. "This ain't us," his father had growled, voice thick with betrayal, shoving the notebook into Alex's chest. "You think you can just change like that? Throw away everything for some fantasy?" Alex had bolted without a word, backpack slung over one shoulder, heart pounding like it might burst free and run ahead. The pier was his refuge, or so he'd thought, a place where the water swallowed secrets. But Jordan's presence shattered that illusion. He was older, maybe 25, with the kind of easy confidence that came from surviving Seattle's indie music scene, gigs and dive bars, late nights strumming guitar under string lights at house parties. His family was scattered, mom in Portland chasing art dreams, dad long gone after a bitter divorce. But Jordan had carved out a life here, pouring lattes by day and chasing melodies by night. He wasn't looking for complications, not after his last heartbreak with a drummer who vanished with the tour bus and half his savings. Yet here he was, drawn to this stranger like a moth to the flickering lamp above them. "Talk to me," Jordan urged, his hand hovering near Alex's shoulder, close enough to feel the heat but not daring to touch. Alex wiped his face, smearing the rain into something fiercer. "What's the point? It's all fucked up anyway." The words hung heavy, laced with the bitterness of a boy who'd spent years burying his truth under layers of straight report cards and varsity soccer cheers. At 22, Alex was a graphic design major at the University of Washington, sketching logos for local breweries to pay tuition, but his real art was private. Charcoal drawings of bodies in motion, always male, always yearning. Coming out hadn't been a choice, it had been a fracture. Jordan nodded, as if he understood the weight of unspoken fractures. "Fair enough, but drowning out here won't fix it. Come on, my car's just up the hill. At least get dry before you turn into a prune." He stood, offering a hand that was steady, scarred from guitar strings and bar fights long forgotten. Alex hesitated, pride warring with exhaustion, but the ferry's horn blared again, mocking his solitude. He took the hand, Jordan's grip warm and sure, pulling him up into a world that suddenly felt less like freefall. They drove in silence through the slick streets of Ballard, windshield wipers slashing rhythmically against the glass. Jordan's old Subaru smelled of pine air freshener and stale coffee, a battered acoustic guitar wedged in the back seat. He lived in a converted warehouse loft above a tattoo parlor, the kind of place where exposed brick walls met mismatched furniture scavenged from estate sales. "Home sweet chaos," he said, flipping on a lamp that cast golden pools across the hardwood floor. Alex stood dripping in the doorway, suddenly aware of how small he felt, how exposed. "Showers down the hall," Jordan added, tossing him a towel from a laundry basket overflowing with band tees. "I'll throw your stuff in the dryer. No charge for the pity party." There was no pity in his tone, though, just a quiet invitation, the sort that didn't demand answers but offered shelter. Alex stripped in the steamy bathroom, the hot water scalding away the chill, but not the knot in his gut. What was he doing here? Running from one mess into another's arms? When he emerged in borrowed sweats 2 sizes too big, Jordan was at the kitchen counter, stirring cocoa on the stove like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Sit," Jordan said, sliding a mug across the scarred wood. And if you want to spill, I'm all ears. If not, we can just exist for a bit. Alex sank onto a stool, the steam rising like ghosts between them. The loft was alive with small details. Vinyl records stacked by a turntable, Polaroids pinned to a corkboard showing Jordan mid-laugh at open mics, a half-finished song lyric scrawled on a napkin. It felt real, lived in, a stark contrast to the sterile perfection Alex's parents demanded. The words tumbled out before he could stop them. My dad found out. About me. About you. Jordan's brow furrowed, but he didn't interrupt, just listened as Alex poured it all. The stolen kisses in the university quad, the way Jordan's laugh lit up rainy afternoons at the coffee shop where they'd met 3 months ago. It started innocently, a spilled latte, a shared umbrella, conversations stretching from Kerouac to queer icons like Audre Lorde. Jordan had been the first person to see Alex, really see him, beyond the facade of the golden boy. But love like that, it terrified his family, a threat to the immigrant dream they'd clawed from Vietnam to America's promise. Jordan reached across the counter then, his fingers brushing Alex's knuckles, light as a breath, but electric. That sucks, man. Families. They mean well, but sometimes they forget we're not their mirror. His own story slipped in quietly. Growing up in Tacoma, the son of a single mom who'd worked double shifts at a diner, coming out at 17 to a hug instead of hate, but still navigating the world sideways glances. Love's messy. It hurts because it matters. But running? That just delays the storm. Alex's throat tightened, the cocoa forgotten. What if I can't face it? What if I lose everything? Jordan's eyes softened, the brown depths holding a lifetime of quiet battles. Then you rebuild. With people who choose you. He stood, rounding the counter to pull Alex into a hug. Loose at first, then fierce, as if anchoring him against the tide. Alex buried his face in Jordan's shoulder, the scent of rain and sandalwood grounding him. In that embrace, the hook of the night loosened its grip. Pain wasn't the end, but the forge. As the clock ticked past midnight, they migrated to the couch, a threadbare sectional piled with throw blankets. Jordan queued up a playlist, soft indie folk, Bon Iver's falsetto weaving through the loft like smoke. They talked until words frayed into silences, hands finding each other in the dim light. When Alex's phone buzzed, his mom, voicemail pleading, "Come home, we can fix this," he silenced it, choosing instead the warmth of Jordan's thigh against his. Sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with peers and accusations, but Jordan's arm draped over him like a promise. Morning broke gray and unrelenting, coffee brewing as Jordan scrambled eggs in a cast-iron skillet. So what's the plan, kid? Back to the war zone, or you want to stick around and plot world domination? Alex managed a laugh, the sound rusty but real. Domination sounds good, but first, I need to tell them it's not going away. Jordan nodded, plating the food with a flourish. Attaboy. And hey, I'm in your corner. Rain or shine. They ate cross-legged on the floor, knees bumping, the city humming beyond the loft's tall windows. Alex felt the shift then, subtle as the tide turning, fear giving way to resolve. Jordan wasn't a savior. He was a mirror, reflecting back the strength Alex had always carried but never claimed. As they stepped out into the drizzle, hands brushing in the anonymity of the crowd, Alex whispered, "Thanks. For last night." Jordan grinned, that lopsided smile that always undid him. "Anytime. Now let's get you some dry socks before you catch your death." Little did they know, the storm was just gathering force. The days blurred into a tentative rhythm, Seattle's perpetual mist wrapping around them like a shared secret. Alex crashed at Jordan's loft more nights than not, his backpack a permanent fixture by the door, sketches spilling across the coffee table like confetti from a broken heart. By day, he buried himself in finals, digital renders of sustainable packaging for eco-brands. His mouse clicks a metronome against the chaos. Evenings were theirs, walks along the locks where salmon leaped upstream, stubborn against the current, or curled up with takeout pho from a hole in the wall in the International District, Jordan's chopsticks dancing as he recounted tales of botched gigs. "You're a natural storyteller," Alex said one night, head pillowed on Jordan's lap as rain pattered the skylight. Jordan's fingers carded through his hair, gentle tugs sending shivers down his spine. "Nah, just a guy with too many words and not enough songs." But there was a shadow in his voice, a hesitation that Alex chalked up to the late hour. Jordan had his own ghosts, nights when he'd wake gasping from dreams of empty stages, the drummer's betrayal echoing like a dropped mic. He played it off with humor, strumming half-formed chords on his guitar, but Alex saw the flinch when his phone lit up with unknown numbers. Their first real date snuck up unannounced, a Friday when the sun dared to pierce the clouds. Jordan had booked tickets to a queer poetry slam at Hugo House, the venue's brick facade glowing under string lights. Figured you'd dig the vibe, he said, holding out a bouquet of wildflowers pilfered from a roadside stand. Daisies and lavender, simple and defiant. Alex's cheeks burned, and used to gestures that felt like sunlight. Dressed in slim jeans and a button-down borrowed from Jordan's closet, he felt exposed, alive. The slam was electric. Poets spilling verses on reclaimed bodies, love as revolution. One performer, a trans woman with fire in her cadence, roared about kissing boys in the church parking lot, stealing grace from the gods who forgot us. Alex's hand tightened in Jordan's, pulse racing with recognition. Afterward, they spilled onto the street, buzzed on cheap wine and adrenaline, lips meeting under a awning as thunder rumbled a distant approval. Jordan tasted like Merlot and mischief, his kiss deepening until the world narrowed to the press of bodies, the slide of tongues promising more. Back at the loft, urgency overtook them. Clothes shed in a trail from door to bed, Jordan's hands mapping Alex's skin like uncharted territory, collarbones sharp as secrets, hips flaring into invitation. "You're beautiful," Jordan murmured against his throat, voice husky with want. Alex arched, gasping as teeth grazed his nipple, the sensation a spark igniting dry tinder. They moved together, tentative at first, then fervent, Jordan's weight grounding him, fingers curling inside with a stretch that bordered pain and revelation. Alex cried out, nails digging into shoulders, the rhythm building to a crest that left them tangled and spent, breaths mingling in the afterglow. "I love you," Alex whispered into the dark, the words slipping free like a held breath. Jordan stilled, then pressed a kiss to his temple. "Love you too, kid. More than the rain loves this city." It was perfect, or so it seemed, until the knock came 2 weeks later, shattering the fragile dome. Alex's mom stood on the threshold, raincoat dripping, eyes red-rimmed from the drive from their suburb in Bellevue. "Me needs to see you," she said in Vietnamese, voice cracking on the edges. Jordan hovered in the kitchen, giving space, but Alex felt his gaze like a lifeline. They sat on the couch, the air thick with jasmine tea and unsaid accusations. "Ba is sorry," she began, hands twisting a tissue. "He didn't mean. We just want what's best. This phase, it's confusing, Connoy. Come home. Let us help." The word phase landed like a slap, Alex's jaw clenching. "It's not a phase, Mom. It's me. Jordan's me." Her face crumpled, a sob escaping. "But our family, the neighbors, the temple. What will they say? You've always been our good boy." The plea twisted the knife, dredging up childhood memories. Tet celebrations with sticky rice and laughter, her stories of Hanoi markets under lantern glow. She'd sacrificed everything for this American dream. Nursing shifts that bent her back, English classes squeezed between carpool runs. To her, his love was a crack in the foundation. "I can't pretend anymore," Alex said, voice steady despite the tremor. "If you love me, you'll try." She reached for him, but he pulled back, the distance a chasm. Jordan appeared then, a quiet presence with 2 mugs of tea. "Ma'am," he said respectfully, "Alex is family to me. We'll figure this out together, if you'll let us." She glanced between them, the weight of generations in her gaze, then nodded once, small, but seismic. She left with a hug that lingered, a promise to talk to Dad. Alex collapsed against Jordan, the release of flood. "That was brave," Jordan murmured, holding him close. But as they lay awake later, Alex's mind raced. How long before the fracture spread? Jordan's silence felt heavier too, his arm a band-aid over wounds Alex couldn't yet see. The next weekend brought a fragile truce. Dinner at a dim sum spot in Chinatown, the 4 of them squeezed around a lazy Susan. Dad was gruff, avoiding eye contact, but he passed the har gow without comment, a concession. Mom chattered about work, steering clear of the elephant. Jordan charmed with stories of his mom's vegan experiments, easing the tension like a well-timed chord. Under the table, his foot nudged Alex's, a secret Morse code of solidarity. It felt like progress, a bridge mending. But bridges, Alex would learn, could buckle under hidden weight. Summer unfurled lazy and lush, the city shedding its gray for bursts of green. Alex landed an internship at a design firm in Pioneer Square, churning out branding for queer-owned startups, rainbow-infused logos that made his portfolio sing. Jordan gigged more, his band The Driftwood Echoes landing a slot at Bumbershoot Festival, the crowd's roar of validation he'd chased for years. Their love deepened in stolen moments. Picnics on Alki Beach, where they'd feed each other strawberries and watch freighters glide like ghosts. Slow dances in the loft to Nina Simone, bodies swaying to Feeling Good until dawn. Yet cracks spiderwebbed beneath the surface. Jordan started canceling plans. "Headaches," he said, blaming late nights. Alex noticed the pill bottles in the bathroom cabinet. Ibuprofen, something for migraines. You sure you're okay? He'd ask, concern knitting his brow. Jordan would wave it off with a kiss. Just the grind, babe. Nothing a good riff can't fix. But Alex saw the shadows under his eyes, the way his laugh sometimes rang hollow. One evening, after a particularly raucous show at the Crocodile, they stumbled home buzzed on adrenaline and IPAs. Jordan pulled Alex onto the fire escape. The city sprawled below like a glittering circuit board. Marry me, he joked, or half-joked, sliding a guitar pick onto Alex's ring finger. Be my forever chord. Alex laughed, heart soaring, but the pick felt like a placeholder for promises they weren't ready to make. Then came the call that redlined everything. Jordan's phone rang at 2 a.m., Mom's voice frantic. He's collapsing again. Get to Harborview. Alex drove through blackout streets, tires hydroplaning on fresh rain, prayer on his lips he'd half forgotten from childhood. In the ER waiting room, fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets, the smell of antiseptic a chokehold. The doctor emerged, chart in hand. Acute episode. It's his heart. Undiagnosed arrhythmia, complicated by stress. Jordan, pale on the gurney, managed a weak thumbs up. Told you. Just the grind. But his eyes betrayed the lie, fear flickering like a shorting wire. Alex gripped his hand. The monitors beep a metronome to their terror. Love, it turned out, wasn't just hurt, it could kill. The hospital room became their unintended fortress. Beeps and 4 drips the soundtrack to a love under siege. Jordan lay propped on pillows, monitors webbing his chest like electronic veins, his usual vibrancy dimmed to a stubborn glow. Alex perched on the vinyl chair, sketching absent-mindedly on a napkin. Jordan's profile, fierce even in repose, to anchor the fear clawing his gut. This is bullshit, he muttered, crumpling the paper. You can't just glitch out on me. Jordan's laugh was a rasp, oxygen mask fogging with effort. Glitch? Babe, I'm premium hardware. Just needs a patch. But the humor fell flat, his hand cold in Alex's grasp. The arrhythmia had been lurking, a silent saboteur triggered by exhaustion, caffeine binges, and the unspoken stress of loving so fiercely in a world that demanded perfection. Tests piled up, EKGs tracing erratic rhythms, blood work probing for culprits. The cardiologist, a no-nonsense woman with salt and pepper hair, laid it out bluntly. Manageable with meds and lifestyle tweaks. But ignore it, and you're playing Russian roulette. Discharge brought no relief, just a prescription and a follow-up haze. Back in the loft, Jordan chafed at rest, pacing like a caged wolf while Alex hovered. Meals prepped, gigs politely declined. I'm not an invalid, he'd snap, then soften with an apology kiss. Their intimacy shifted too, touches tentative, as if Jordan's body were now fragile glass. Alex craved the old fire, the unbridled press of skin, but fear tempered passion into something gentler, deeper. Nights of whispered confessions under quilts, tracing constellations on backs instead of claiming them. Family fractures reopened like poorly healed scars. Alex's parents visited, Mom bearing kanji in Tupperware, Dad awkward with a stack of car magazines. Take care of yourself, son, he rumbled to Jordan. The words a bridge extended across the chasm. Gratitude swelled in Alex's chest, but it soured when Dad pulled him aside. This condition. It's a sign, maybe. Slow down, think about stability. The implication stung, love as liability, Jordan's vulnerability a flaw in their equation. Jordan overheard, of course, the loft's thin walls no match for tension. That night, he packed a duffel with quiet efficiency. I need space, Alex, to figure this out without dragging you under. Panic surged, Alex blocking the door. Dragging? This is us, sick or not, rain or hospital gowns. You don't get to bail because it hurts. Jordan's eyes glistened, the vulnerability cracking his armor. What if I do drag you? What if loving me means watching me flatline? The fight spilled raw, accusations flying like shrapnel, Alex's clinginess a cage, Jordan's withdrawal a wall. You think I want this? Alex yelled, voice breaking. Watching you fade? But I'd choose it over nothing. Jordan deflated, bag dropping with a thud. They collapsed onto the bed, sobs sinking like a duet, bodies entwining in desperate reaffirmation. Sex that night was reclamation, slow, sacred, Jordan's gasps a vow against the void. Fall semester loomed, a cruel calendar flip. Alex threw himself into classes, his designs sharper, infused with the ache, posters for campus pride events, bold lines evoking intertwined roots. Jordan, on beta blockers and strict schedules, channeled frustration into music, songs laced with arrhythmia metaphors, beats stuttering like skipped heartbeats. The Driftwood Echoes EP, Pulse, dropped at a small release party in Fremont, The crowd a sea of tattooed allies chanting lyrics that hit too close. Wired wrong, but your current keeps me alive. Alex stood front row, pride swelling as Jordan's voice soared, guitar a lifeline. But midway through the set, Jordan faltered, a dizzy spell sending him to his knees, mic screeching feedback. The room froze, then erupted in concern. Alex vaulted on stage, cradling him as paramedics swarmed. "I'm okay," Jordan gasped, but the lie echoed hollow. In the ambulance's wail, Alex's mind fractured, flashes of the pier, that first rain-soaked rescue now inverted. Harbor view again, same sterile hell. Scans revealed stress as the trigger, tour anxiety, unspoken family pressures compounding the electrical storm in his chest. He needs to prioritize, the doctor stressed. Rest, therapy. Love's great, but it's not a cure-all. Therapy became their ritual, joint sessions with a counselor specializing in queer health, unpacking layers like onion skins. Jordan admitted the fear, abandonment echoes from his dad's exit, amplified by illness. "I push away to protect," he confessed, voice thick. Alex bared his own, perfectionism inherited from immigrant parents, love as performance until Jordan scripted him real. "You make me enough," he said, tears salting the words. Healing wasn't linear. Relapses punctuated progress, a canceled hike when fatigue hit, a quiet anniversary marked by takeout instead of travel. But in the lulls, beauty bloomed. Jordan teaching Alex chords on the fire escape, fingers guiding strings until harmonies emerged, Alex designing album art, pixels capturing Jordan's resilient spark. Winter gripped Seattle in iron fists, holidays a minefield. Alex's family hosted a subdued Christmas, bauble lights twinkling on a tree heavy with expectations. Dad carved the turkey with deliberate strokes, Mom's spring rolls crisp and forgiving. Jordan arrived with a pie from his mom's recipe, nerves masked by charm. Toasts clinked, awkward at first, then warm. To new rhythms, Dad ventured, glancing at Jordan's wristband from a recent checkup. It wasn't absolution, but it was thaw. New Year's Eve found them on the pier, full circle. Fireworks burst over the sound, colors fracturing on black water. Jordan pulled a small box from his coat, not a ring, but matching pendants, tiny silver hearts, etched with beat as one. "No proposals," he said, fastening Alex's. "Just this, us, synced." Alex kissed him fierce, salt wind whipping their faces. Forever's not a glitch. It's the code. But codes, Alex knew, could corrupt. Spring thawed the city, cherry blossoms dusting Queen and Hill like fleeting confetti. Jordan's health stabilized, gigs resuming with cautious joy. A tour down the coast, Portland to San Francisco, queer festivals hungry for his sound. Alex tagged along for the first leg, sketching venues by day, losing himself in Jordan's spotlight by night. Hotels smelled of strangers' regrets, but their room was sanctuary, sheets tangled, laughter echoing off thin walls. In Oakland, at a warehouse, show pulsing with bass, euphoria crested. Jordan dedicated Pulse to Alex on stage, voice cracking on the bridge. "You steady the storm in my veins." The crowd hooped, but Alex felt exposed, love laid bare under strobes. Backstage, amid high fives, Jordan doubled over. Another episode, sharper this time, vision tunneling black. The ER in Berkeley was a blur, defibrillator pads. Alex's screams drowned in medical jargon. Ventricular tachycardia, the on-call doc barked. "Close call." Jordan woke groggy, Alex's face the first anchor. "Sorry," he mumbled. "Ruined the high." Alex's rage boiled over. "Not ruined. You almost died. This tour's killing you." The drive home was funeral silent. Five a ribbon of recriminations. Jordan quit the band that week, guitar gathering dust. "I can't risk it," he said, defeated. Alex nodded, but resentment simmered, love's cage tightening, dreams deferred. Their touches grew mechanical, intimacy a duty masking the grief. Then, the ultimatum. Alex's internship extended to New York, a dream gig at a top agency. 6 months, he pitched over dinner, fork spearing asparagus like hope. Jordan's face shuddered. "And me? What if I crash while you're gone?" The argument erupted. Selfishness versus sacrifice, fear versus flight. "I need this, for us," Alex pleaded. "To build something stable." Jordan's whisper cut deepest. "Stable? Or just an escape from the mess I am?" Doors slammed, nights on the couch. Alex packed for JFK, heart a lead weight. At the airport, Jordan's goodbye was a ghost. Hug brief, eyes averted. "Call when you land." The plane lifted, Seattle shrinking below, but Alex's world plummeted. Months in Manhattan were a grind of subway rushes and skyline sketches, but hollow. Texts from Jordan dwindled, check-ins turning curt, then silent. Alex stalked his socials, solo coffee runs, Guitar rest-strung but unplayed. Panic clawed. Was this the hurt the title promised? Love's blade twisting slow? He flew back unannounced, pounding on the loft door at dawn. Jordan answered hollow-eyed, stubble shadowing his jaw. What are you? Alex silenced him with a kiss, desperate, devouring. I can't do this without you. The city's gray without your beat. Jordan pulled back, tears carving tracks. But my heart. Alex cupped his face. Our heart. We'll fix it together. Forgiveness flooded, bodies reuniting in a frenzy of need. Rough edges smoothed by sobs, thrusts of punctuation, till I miss US. But some fixes demand more than will. Summer in Seattle scorched unusual, the sound a mirror to unrelenting blue. Alex deferred New York, anchoring to Jordan's side as they navigated cardiology's labyrinth. Ablation surgery scheduled, a zap to cauterize the faulty circuits. Pre-op jitters turned the loft into a warren of what-ifs. Jordan pacing, Alex brewing chamomile like it could soothe fate. You're gonna crush this, Alex said the night before, straddling Jordan on the bed, shirts discarded in a heap. Their lovemaking was deliberate, a ritual, lips charting scars, hands invoking protection. Jordan arched beneath him, moans a litany, release a temporary exorcism. For you, he gasped, always. Surgery day dawned crisp, Swedish Medical Center's lobby a sterile purgatory. Alex waited alone, parents en route from a shift, Jordan's mom flying in from Portland. Hours stretched elastic, coffee turning to ash. The surgeon emerged, mask dangling. Success. Stable rhythm restored. Relief buckled Alex's knees. He texted the group chat, emojis masking the sob. Recovery was a slog. Jordan bedbound, cranky from pain meds. Alex playing nurse with sponge baths and bad jokes. If I wanted pampering, I'd get a cat, Jordan griped, but his eyes shone gratitude. Physical therapy rebuilt strength. Walks escalating from block to waterfront, hands linked against the pull of tides. Emotionally, they delved deeper. Couples counseling, unpacking codependency, Jordan's abandonment wounds, Alex's savior complex. Love isn't fixing, the therapist intoned. It's coexisting. Bandmates rallied, the driftwood echoes reforming acoustically, intimate sets at Nomos. Jordan's voice richer for the trial. Alex designed their merch, tees silkscreened with heartbeat waves, proceeds to heart health nonprofits. Pride Month amplified the momentum. They marched in the parade, rainbow flags snapping like applause, Jordan atop floats strumming anthems. This is living, he shouted over the din, Alex's whoop blending with the throng. Yet shadows lingered. Dad's health scare, a minor stroke from work stress, yanked Alex homeward, bridging family further. At the hospital, Dad gripped his hand. I was wrong, Con. About you. About love. Tears flowed freer now, Vietnamese proverbs mingling with English vows. Mom nodded, bow steaming on the tray. We see you. Both of you. Jordan's integration deepened. Game nights with mahjong tiles clacking, Jordan mangling phrases, but trying. Cam on for the spring rolls. Laughter healed what lectures couldn't, love's tendrils weaving disparate threads. Fall brought harvest. Jordan's solo album, Steady Now, charting indie playlists, tracks co-written in fevered nights. Alex's portfolio bloomed, freelance commissions rolling in, queer-lit covers, vibrant and unapologetic. They splurged on a weekend in the San Juans, ferrying to Orcas Island, cabin nestled in evergreens. Days blurred, kayaking glassy inlets, nights by firelight, Jordan's guitar serenading stars. Marry me for real, he said one dusk, ring simple platinum, engraved with their peer coordinates. Alex's yes was a breath, sealing vows under canopy. Wedding planning infused joy laced with gravity. Small ceremony at Discovery Park, guests a tapestry of chosen family. Vows exchanged at sunset, Jordan's voice steady. You taught me hurt's the price of depth. I choose it with you. Alex's ring slid home, cool promise. But joy's peak often precedes the plummet. Post-honeymoon glow faded under mundane assaults. Jordan's job layoffs at the coffee chain, Alex's client ghosting a major pitch. Bills mounted, resentment simmering in late-night tallies. We can't keep scraping, Jordan vented, guitar silent. Alex snapped back, then tore again. Risk it for the dream. The barb landed cruel, dredging surgery scars. A storm brewed literal and figurative, gale-force winds downing trees, power outages plunging the loft dark. Candles flickered as they argued, voices rising over howling gusts. You think I'm holding you back? Jordan accused. No, I think we're drowning each other. Alex hurled. Silence crashed heavier than thunder. Jordan stormed out into the gale, coat flapping like surrender. Alex paced, regret a vice, phone clutched for the call that didn't come. Dawn broke sodden. Jordan returned soaked, not from rain, but revelation. I talked to my mom. She's got a spare room in Portland, temp gig at a studio. Alex's heart seized. You're leaving? Not leaving us. Just breathing room. A month, tops. The compromise tasted bitter, but necessary. Space to recalibrate, not rupture. Alex drove him to the station, kiss at the Amtrak platform, a lifeline across miles. Portland's separation stretched nerves taut. Daily calls laced with longing, visits squeezed weekends. Jordan thrived in the studio, tracks flowing freer. Alex soloed in Seattle, designs bolder in isolation. But distance amplified doubts. Flirty bar text from Jordan's coworker, glimpsed in a careless screenshot. Alex's late nights at the firm, blurred with after-work drinks. Jealousy ignited on a rainy return. Jordan's bag unpacked to a cologne whiff not his own. Who's Mia? Alex demanded, screenshot thrust like evidence. Jordan blanched, session musician. Nothing. But the seed rooted, trust fracturing. Accusations flew. You always run when it's hard. And you control when it's scary. The loft echoed with slams, love's house divided. Jordan slept on the couch, Alex in their bed alone, sheets cold as betrayal's ghost. Rock bottom came mid-fight, Jordan clutching chest, phantom pain or real, panic indiscernible. 911 wailed anew, ER confirming stress-induced flutter. In the sterile wait, Alex broke. I can't lose you to this. To us. Jordan's grip anchored. Then let's rebuild. No running. Therapy intensified, tools for mending. Boundaries drawn, insecurities aired. Date nights enforced. Picnics sans phones. Vulnerability games over wine. Intimacy reignited slow. Massages evolving to caresses. Rediscovering maps redrawn by time. Winter solstice marked pivot. Yule log crackling. They burned letters of grudges. Flames devouring doubt, fear. Ashes swirled. Phoenix promise. Jordan's Portland stint ended. Album mastered. Alex secured a queer arts grant. Stability blooming. But stability's illusion cracked when Dad's cancer diagnosis dropped. Prostate, early but aggressive. Family rallied. Chemo chairs a new ritual. Jordan sat vigil, strumming softly during infusions, his presence a balm. Strength's contagious, Dad murmured, hand on Jordan's knee. Crisis forged unbreakable. Alex's sketches for Dad's warrior portrait, Jordan pinning a song, Iron Roots. Love, tested, tempered gold. Yet the deepest cut loomed, love's ultimate gauntlet. Spring's renewal mocked their fraying edges, Seattle's magnolias unfurling petals, while Dad's treatments drained color from his cheeks. Alex shuttled between Loft and Bellevue, for stands and optimism his constant companions. Jordan adapted seamlessly, stocking kanji recipes, ferrying Mom to appointments, his quiet competence a rock. Your family, he told her simply, earning a teary nod. But the load bent Alex double. Grant deadlines clashing with chemo runs, sleep snatched in catnaps. Jordan's nudges for self-care grated. Babe, you're fading, sparking flares. Easy for you to say, Mr. Fixed Heart. The jab recoiled, guilt immediate, but exhaustion eroded filters. A Grant presentation loomed, high-stakes pitch to funders in Pioneer Square. Alex rehearsed obsessively, slides gleaming with queer narratives visualized. Jordan offered feedback, but tension simmered. It's brilliant, but are you pitching you, or performing? The critique stung, Alex storming out to the pub alone. Beers blurred into bad decisions, flirting with a fellow artist, harmless banter escalating to a hand on thigh. Nothing happened, but the guilt gnawed, confession spilling to Jordan at dawn. I was lonely. Stupid. Jordan's face cycled shock to sorrow. Lonely? With me here. Forgiveness came measured, trust's thread frayed finer. Dad scans brought mixed mercy. Tumor shrinking, but metastasis whispers. Fight's not over, the oncologist cautioned. Family dinners turned strategy sessions, laughter forced around faux bowls. Jordan composed a playlist for treatments, upbeat folk to drown beeps, his gift weaving him tighter into the fold. Alex's grant landed, euphoria short-lived under fatigue's weight. Celebration dinner at Camless overlooked the sound, city lights winking approval. Toasts clinked. To warriors, Jordan said, eyes on Alex. But post-meal, in the valet line, Alex swayed, exhaustion crashing like a wave. Jordan caught him, concern etching lines. We need help, he insisted. A nanny for Dad's care? No, balance for them. Therapy unearthed the rot. Alex's burnout amassed for control loss. Jordan's enabling a fear of loss redux. Codependent much? The counselor quipped, prescribing you time, Solo hikes for Alex, open mics for Jordan. Implementation faltered. Guilt glued them hip to hip. Summer solstice gig marked milestone. Jordan headlining Numos, album launch electric. Alex front row, pride undimmed despite the crowd's press triggering Jordan's old claustrophobia. Set sword. Encore steady now a gut punch. You hold the line when I falter. Backstage, amid sweat-slick hugs, Jordan proposed an encore to life. A baby moon? No, deeper. Adopt. Someday. Build our beat. The seed rooted, dreams expanding beyond survival. But dreams demand soil fertile, and there's parched. Fall's chill heralded change. Dad's remission declared. Cheers echoing in the hospital hall. Clean. The word a mantra. Family banquet followed. Loud bubbling. Toasts sloshing rice wine. Dad pulled Jordan aside. You saved us, son. The elder's embrace sealed it. Son, not in-law. Emboldened, they pursued fostering. Classes on trauma-informed care, home visits appraising the loft's chaos. It's not perfect, Jordan fretted, stacking records. Alex laughed. It's us, messy real. Approval came tentative, short-term placements, trial runs. First kid, Miko, 12, non-binary with wary eyes and foster system scars. Arrival awkward, duffel clutched, bunk bed eyed suspicious. Nights initial were minefields. Nightmares jolting Jordan awake, Alex decoding silences. But breakthroughs bloomed. Miko sketching with Alex, beats sinking on Jordan's knee. Safe here, they whispered one dawn, family forged in fragments. Fostering amplified cracks, though. Miko's school drama, bullies taunting freak family, mirrored Alex's youth, rage boiling. Jordan mediated calm, but privately vented. We're stretching thin. Date nights dwindled, intimacy to pecs. Resentment simmered. You wanted this, Alex accused. Now it's too much. Winter holidays tested. Miko's first with real, lights, tree trimming a glee of ornaments. But Dad's fatigue flagged, treatments echo lingering. New Year's found them snowed in, board games by candlelight, Monopoly trades turning to truths. I feel lost in the parent role, Jordan admitted. Alex nodded. Me too. But together? Resolution. Boundaries reset. Support network expanded. Miko's therapist, queer youth group. Spring thawed log jams. Miko thrived, placement extending permanent. Papers signed, court date a blur of vows. We choose you. Joy crested, but undercurrents tugged. Jordan's checkup flagged anomaly, scar tissue from ablation, minor but monitored. Routine, doc assured. Alex's anxiety spiked, hypervigilance straining. Not again, he pleaded nightly, checks turning obsessive. Clash erupted over Miko's birthday. Alex overplanning, Jordan pushing low-key. Let them breathe. They need normal. Voices peaked, Miko overhearing, retreating shell-shocked. Aftermath, family therapy, apologies layered. We're human, Jordan soothed, hugging Miko. Mess-ups included. Healing cycled, summer camp for Miko, couples retreat for them. San Juan cabin redux, kayaks cutting waves. Nights rekindled fire, bodies rediscovering hunger, Jordan's moans a symphony. Still mine, he gasped. Alex's thrust affirmed. Always. Fall brought harvest. Miko's art show, Jordan's tour light, local hops. Alex's exhibit, designs queer bold. Life orchestrated, harmonious. But harmony hides discord. The symphony soured when past notes resurfaced. A letter arrived unmarked. Jordan's ex-drummer, penitent, seeking closure. Missed the music. And you. Curiosity piqued. Jordan met for coffee. Platonic, he swore. Alex discovered via mutual friend, trust scar-ripping. Closure? Or temptation? Confrontation scorched. I trusted you. It's nothing, why police me? Fight festered, silence is glacial. Miko sensed, withdrawing. Bet a chasm, touches withheld. Jordan's tour cancelled self-sabotage. Alex buried in work, sketches dark. Breaking point. Anniversary eve, rain lashing. Jordan packed again. Space, for real. Alex blocked. Run then. Lose us all. Door slammed. Jordan gone. Portland, presumably. Days blurred agony. Alex solo parenting. Miko's questions knives. He'll come back. Alex lied. Heart hemorrhaging. Calls unanswered. Texts blue-ticked ghosts. Then, the whisper that hooked them anew. Hospital call. Jordan, collapse on route. Arrhythmia rogue. Alex raced. Miko in tow. Terror twin engines. ER vigil. Complications, doc said. Surgery again. Riskier. Waiting room hell. Miko's hand small in his. Prayers bilingual. Hours later, surgeon, stable. But lifestyle overhaul. No stress, med strict. Jordan woke. Alex's face beacon. I'm sorry, croak. Don't. Love you hurts, but it's home. Reunion raw. Forgiveness forged in fierce fire. Portland Bridge burned. Jordan home. Changes seismic. Career pivot to teaching music. Therapy weekly. Family therapy mended Miko's fractures. Bonds triple knotted. Love's hurt. They learned. Scars but strengthens. Tattoo of survival. Yet the finale loomed. Meanings crescendo. Autumn leaves carpeted Capitol Hill, crunching underfoot like brittle apologies as Alex and Jordan navigated the post-crisis rebuild. Jordan's recovery demanded reinvention. Adjunct professor at a community college, guitar lessons in cozy studios, his energy rationed like precious fuel. Alex scaled back freelance, prioritizing home, dinners rhythmic, bedtime stories for Miko a nightly anchor. The loft evolved. Miko's room splashed murals, family photos pinned like talismans. But reinvention unearthed buried minds. Jordan's meds dulled edges, libido lagging, moods swinging. It's chemical, he explained, frustration etching furrows. Intimacy stuttered, attempts fizzling to cuddles, rejections sting mutual. Not you, Jordan soothed. Just recalibrating. Alex nodded, but insecurity gnawed. Am I enough for the new him? Miko's adolescence bloomed thorny. Middle school cliques, identity questions sharp as puberty's blade. Am I gay like you guys? They asked one dinner. Fort paused midair. Jordan's response gentle. Labels are maps, not cages. You're you. But follow-up tears in Alex's lap revealed deeper. What if I'm broken? Foster scars surfaced, therapy intensifying. Family dynamics shifted too. Dad's full remission sparked volunteerism. Mentoring at the Vietnamese Community Center, Jordan roped in for music workshops. Mom's pride swelled. Holiday tamales infused with stories. You boys built this, she said, beaming at Miko. Gratitude mingled with guilt. Alex's youth sacrificed on altars of duty. Winter's grip tightened resolve. Holiday lights strung early, traditions fused, lunar cookies beside gingerbread. New Year's ritual evolved. Not burning letters, but vision boards, collage of dreams. Family road trip, Jordan's book of songs, Miko's art scholarship. Forward, they toasted, glitter glue sealing intent. Spring thawed personalizes. Jordan's side project, a queer music collective, flourished, collaborations birthing anthems. Alex joined, designing flyers pulsing pride. Miko contributed lyrics, voice tentative then bold. Debut showcase at the Vera Project thrummed solidarity, crowd a chorus of You Belong. Yet undercurrents swirled. Jordan's checkups clean, but a shadow skin flagged. Monitor closely. Dread's whisper returned, Alex's vigilance spiking. Stats say fine. Jordan chided. Trust the beat. But trust wavered when Jordan hit a dizzy spell. Dismissed as low blood sugar. Discovery via journal entry. Can't burden him again. Confrontation brewed soft. We're partners, not patients. Jordan deflated. Habit, protecting you from my chaos. Vow renewed. Transparency's oath. Check-ins daily. Summer solstice brought crossroads. Offer for Alex, lead designer at NYC firm, remote hybrid. Dream job, he breathed. Jordan's smile strained. Go. We'll bridge. Miko echoed. Adventure. But nights debated. Stability versus spark. We've built here, Jordan urged. Don't fracture for what-ifs. Decision deferred. Trip planned. Family jaunt to Olympic Peninsula. Tents pitched under ancient cedars. Trails tested. Jordan's pace steady. Miko's chatter a bomb. Campfire tales wove histories. Jordan's Tacoma youth. Alex's Hanoi echoes via mom. Miko's pre-foster fragments. Stars wheeled overhead. Love's constellation mapping paths. Hikes culminated revelation. Atop Hurricane Ridge, windswept vista sprawling. New York can wait, Alex declared. This, us, is the dream. Jordan's kiss sealed, fierce against gales. Miko hooped, tossing pebbles like confetti. Fall's harvest ripened. Alex negotiating remote, firm yielding. Jordan's collective album dropped. Tracks streaming viral in queer playlists. Miko's school play, non-binary lead. Drew standing ovations, family front row teary. But harvest hides rot. Dad's cough persisted, dismissed as autumn chill. Checkup shattered. Recurrence, lungs now. Aggressive, oncologist grave. Chemo redux, but prognosis dimmed. Family fractured anew. Vigils resuming, laughter rarer. Jordan shouldered silent, composing dirges masked as hope songs. Alex sketching memorials preemptively. Miko regressed, nightmares of loss. Not again, they wailed. Alex held. We hold each other. Holidays hollowed. Tree lights dimmed by hospital fluorescence. Dad rallied brief. Home for Ted. Bon Chung steaming. Live loud. He urged Jordan, voice rasped. For my boy. Jordan nodded, guitar a vow. Winter deepened Dad's fade. Hospice whispers, then reality. Final days blurred. Morphine haze, hands clasped. Dad's last words to Alex. Proud, con. Love wins. To Jordan, keep the rhythm. To Miko, brave heart. Funeral reigned fitting, pier side, ashes scattered to sound's embrace. Eulogies poured. Dad's mechanic tales, immigrant grit. Jordan sang, iron roots. Voice cracking, crowd swaying eulogy. Grief's wake tsunami. Alex numb, functioning on autopilot. Designs mechanical, hugs hollow. Jordan anchored, but his own arrhythmia flickered, stress trigger. Not now, he prayed, meds doubled. Miko shattered loudest. School skips, outbursts. Therapy marathons, family cocooning. He was grandpa, they sobbed. Alex is truth, and he'll live in us. Spring's mercy slow, bulbs pushing soil, mirroring resolve. Memorial garden planted, Dad's plot blooming perennials. Jordan's song for him charted, tribute rippling. Alex's exhibit honored, roots and rhythms, pieces fusing loss to legacy. Opening night cathartic, tears mingling toasts, Jordan's arms steel. Yet grief's undertow pulled, anniversaries ache, triggers lurking. Jordan's health scare minor, false alarm, but eroded confidence. What if I'm next, he confessed. Alex's hold fierce, then we face it. Love. Summer healed incremental. Beach days, Miko's surf lessons, laughter tentative then free. Jordan's teaching tenure secured, stability's root. Fall circled closure, Dad's marker unveiled, family toasting ghosts. To hurts that shape, Jordan said. Alex echoed, heart full. Love's tapestry, woven pain and joy, neared pattern complete, meanings weave. The year wheeled toward winter's wisdom, Seattle streets slick with memories frost as Alex, Jordan, and Miko forged ahead, grief's raw edges softening to patina. Dad's absence echoed in small voids. Empty chair at dinner, unanswered voicemails, but filled with tributes. Community center plaque, Jordan's annual Iron Beats, workshop mentoring young mechanics come musicians. Mom thrived in widow's grace, dating a gentle baker, her laughter reclaiming space. Alex's remote role flourished, pixels bridging coasts, income cushioning dreams deferred. Jordan's collective evolved nonprofit, grants funding youth programs, gigs fundraising heart health. Miko blossomed 13, braces glinting in grins, soccer cleats kicking goals literal and figurative. Family teams unbeatable. They declared post-victory, medals clinking like chimes. Intimacy rekindled organic. Date night at Alki, sunset painting waves gold. Jordan's hand in Alex's, rings catching light. Hurt less now. Jordan murmured. Alex's squeeze. Hurts right, deep true. Hotel room later, bodies fluent. Jordan topping slow, eyes locked, gasp symphonic. Release crested waves, afterglow confessions, you're my steady. Winter holidays healed holistic. Tree trimmed with Dad's tools repurposed ornaments. Tet lanterns glowing dual heritage. Mom's tamales fused faux broth, flavors melding. New Year's bonfire on beach. Visions burned to ash, renewed. College funds, island vacation, adoption finalization, Miko's forever seal. Spring surged opportunity. Jordan's invite. South by Southwest showcase. Queer stage. Come, he urged. Alex hesitated. Work crunch, but relented. Family trio Texas bound. Flights hummed anticipation. Austin's heat a hug. Panels pulsed. Jordan moderating queer rhythms in crisis. Voice authoritative. Alex networking designs. Miko volunteered merch booth. Swag flying. Showcase climaxed. Collective set electric. Steady Now remix featuring Miko's spoken word. Trauma to triumph verse. Crowd roared. Tears collective. Backstage, label scouts swarmed. Deal inked modest, but milestone. Return flight buoyant, but turbulence literal. Jordan's chest twinged midair. Mask oxygen brief. Grounded safe. Doc. Adrenaline spike. Fine. Lesson reiterated. Pace, always. Summer idle. Orcas cabin redux. Kayak slicing. Bonfires barding. Miko's coming out casual. Bye, I think. Met shrugs and hugs. Welcome to the spectrum, kid. Pride parade entry. Float theirs. Heartbeat banners waving. Fall's equinox brought apex. Adoption court. Judge's gavel family forged. Miko revering Gwen. Official. Celebratory dim sum devoured. Toast sloshing. Ours. Jordan whispered. Alex's nod tear blurred. Yet life's script twists. Jordan's shadow scan recurred. Benign cyst. Excised outpatient. Vigil familiar, but victory sweeter. Clean. Mantra reclaimed. Post-op. Alex's vigil reverse. Jordan doting. Broths and banter. Grief's anniversary, Pierce gentle. Dad's marker visit, Pierce scattering petals. Songs sung, stories swapped. He'd dig this brood, Jordan quipped. Miko's sketch, family portrait, Dad ethereal guardian. Winter solstice wisdom. Collective's holiday concert, proceeds hospice. Jordan headlined, Alex stage managing, Miko lighting tech. Encore communal, beat as one, audience anthem. New Year's dawn, Pier full circle, rain soft, sound murmuring. Rings renewed, vows impromptu. Through hurts, we heal. Miko's eye roll fond, gross, but epic. Years montage, Miko college bound, art major, Jordan's book published, pulse points. Memoir songs hybrid bestseller queer shelves. Alex's studio launched, designs global. Mom's wedding small, them groomsmen. Grandkids eventual, foster cycles, love looping. Ages grace, Jordan's hair silver streaked. Alex's laugh lines mapping joy. Heart checks routine, love's rhythm eternal. Final hook echoes, twilight pier, older now, hence vain time. Still hurt? Jordan asks. Alex's whisper, beautifully. First time, every time. Love's coda, not absence pain, but presence's profound ache, worth every tear, every beat. In the end, they stood unbroken, whispering to storms, we're okay. Cry if you must, this is love's truest verse.